Purpose is what you are bringing and adding to this earth. Why are you giving that a little bit of your attention? Why are you slacking on that? Some of us need to find our purpose before it's time to walk in your purpose. Hey sis, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla, and on my page you talk about self-love and self-growth. So go ahead and click that subscribe button because I promise you are going to love it here. So last night I was journaling, writing out a few poems, and I kept reading over it to figure out what message God has for me in them, because when I write out, I feel like it's messages because I'm writing what I feel and how I feel. And as I was reading over it, I realized that I feel like I'm in a place of being stagnant and just feeling kind of stuck, and nothing in my life is going bad. It's not like something where everything's going bad for you, but sometimes in a stagnant place of your life, you really feel like it's so much more you could be doing, or you're not really walking and moving in your purpose. So I was like, I want to do a few things that's going to help me move and walk into my purpose. And I feel like I was doing it for a while, but I kept falling off track with it and just falling back into my slumps. So I wanted to share some tips and advice on what I do when I'm feeling stagnant and when it's time for me to walk in my purpose. So without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So I want you guys to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So when I say comfortable with being uncomfortable, I don't mean quitting your job or going out your way to make yourself uncomfortable in that type of way. I'm saying it might be time to add some stuff to your routine. I personally was just doing the same stuff over and over again, and I was doing stuff where at once it was hard for me to do, but once it became into my routine, like working out, waking up early, it became boring to me because I'm doing the same thing every day. That's just a part of my life now. I feel like I have no hobbies, or I feel like I have nothing new in my life. You know that old saying where it's like that 40-year-old middle-aged man and everything in his life is the same. He goes to work, comes home, goes to work, comes home. I feel like I was in that little phase. Like, I do my business, sleep. I do my business, work out, eat, sleep. And I was like, well, how do I add to that? How do I make something different to that? Since I'm kind of bored with my routine, why don't I add new hobbies in? So I've been reading a lot more. I know like that's not everybody's hobby. I'm just really introverted, so I don't really find fun in going out with other people. So that's just me personally. And I also realized, okay, maybe it's time for me to level up and add to what I already have going on. If you have a business going on, maybe this is just your time to elevate it and add more to it. Maybe it's time for you to expand. Let's say you're selling clothes. Maybe it's time for you to dive into that next thing. And I realized that I was doing one thing and I was stuck on that one thing with my business, for example. And I was like, okay, I need like something else to it, because after a while you just get kind of bored of it, or it just becomes like, you know, you're used to it by then. So it's kind of like, well, what now? Once I added new hobbies and like starting YouTube, just doing other things that I feel like could expand my purpose. When it comes to purpose, I feel like we always put it into a box and make it seem like it's one specific thing. But I do genuinely feel like God gives us all plenty of different talents and gifts, more than just one. And we could use that in so many different ways. Stop focusing on, oh, how much is it going to pay me? I realized that's what I was doing. I was going towards goals because I'm like, okay, how much is this going to pay me? How much money am I going to get from this? When I realized if I'm already making money one way, why not add another hobby in? Why don't I do something that I actually love on the side? Eventually, you're going to get money from that. Once I was like, okay, money is going to come. And I'm not even that type of person that preaches quit your job so you could just sit around and it'll come to you. No, that's not what I preach. I'm saying if you are working, but you still have that passion in the back of your mind, you still have something that you genuinely love to do, don't stop doing that. Keep that going so it can grow into something different. I had fitness, and I used to work at a hotel, and I was always into fitness. And I was like, okay, what's the most I could do? A personal trainer? Like, I was always thinking I was just going to be doing that on the side. And my online fitness business really grew, and I started selling workout programs, and I started selling waist trainers, even like got into clothing a little, and I was able to leave my job and actually sustain myself from my business. And now I'm tapping into YouTube. So just multiple different hobbies, and I realized that it wasn't even about the money. It was genuinely making me happy. So if you push towards something that you love to do, then I feel like that's walking in your purpose. And sometimes you can be in your purpose, but it might just be time for you to expand that purpose and add more to it. God's always going to give us more tasks to complete. That's a part of life. I feel like in life, you have different tasks to complete and you are never done. If you ever just are sitting around, you feel like, well, my life is complete. I did everything I need to do. No, most of the time you didn't. As long as you're on this earth, there's still more stuff that you need to be doing. So it's okay to add more to it. If you guys understand what I'm saying, I'm kind of like talking a lot about that part, but yeah, just add more to your purpose, because that was really something that I needed to do. So I'm really saying this for myself too. Understand and know when it's time to elevate and grow and add more or move on to the next thing. The next thing that you need to do when you're walking your purpose is understand and know when it's time for people to go as well and leave out your life. Because I feel like a lot of us, we know when it's time for us to elevate past and go to the next thing. But when it comes to leaving those people behind, we tend to not want to do that. And I'm not going to lie, I was holding on to some people that needed to leave my life 5-6 years ago, but I was just holding on to them, and it did more damage than good. I say this all the time. I really talk about this a lot, but it did more damage than good. And I realized that I was just supposed to let go of them 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they weren't supposed to be in my life now. And when I let them go, it was like so many ideas came to my brain, so many different business ideas, so many different life ideas, so many different hobbies. It's like I really started to tap into myself again and figure out who I really was. And I really feel like it's a real thing when they say that blessings get blocked when you are still around people that do not need to be there. You're still allowing people that don't need to be in your space. You're allowing them around. Don't be that person that regrets not doing certain things in life because you kept certain people around. No, elevate and grow and understand when it's time for them to go and leave them alone and just let go. A lot of the times we stick around and we get worried about the other person's feelings or them thinking we're acting funny, or that whole thing where it's like, oh wow, she's acting so different now that she has this. Okay, maybe it's not acting different. Maybe it's now that you have this, your mindset shifted. Now that you have this success, now that you have this certain specific thing, you're on a different wavelength mentally. And I had to realize that too. I'm a completely different person now than I was even a few months ago, even a few years ago. And I'm not even that type of person that says, oh, cut off your closest friend just because you elevated and grew. But if they didn't really grow with you, or if they're just not on the same wavelength as you, it's okay to distance yourself if it's detrimental to you. Everybody's different. I'm not saying your friends have to be exactly like you, but if it is detrimental to you, it's okay to let go and elevate and understand that you have to walk in your purpose. Why are you being around people who don't serve anything for your purpose in general? Yes, it's okay to be out and have fun with people. I'm not saying don't, but if it's hurting you more than it's doing you good, there's no point in that being around you at all. I don't have time to sacrifice being distracted just because I still want you in my life. If you do not serve purpose in my life, I really feel like it's no point in you being in my life. It's so many missed opportunities that come from when people allow people into their space that don't need to be there. You know how many people wish they can go back in time and not let that person in? That's another reason why when people walk out your life, you have to thank God. Because in a few years, you will see why they weren't supposed to be in your life. You will understand why God removed them from your life. And I'm saying that from experience. So if you're younger than me, or even if you're older than me and you're going through that right now, where people just seem to keep walking out of your life, it's a sign that now it's your time to walk in your purpose. You know that saying where every time a girl gets out of a breakup, they always glow up? That's more than likely true, because the dead weight is out of her life now. The trash has been taken out. It's your job to take that and grow and run with it. It's your time to grow. It's your time to shine, and it's your time to elevate. Don't let other people hold you back. Don't get stuck and dwell on people from the past that hold you no good anyways. There's so many people that are sent here in the world to ruin other people's lives. That's their sole purpose. And don't be the victim. Don't allow yourself to be the victim. Don't allow yourself to be the story that they ruined. Don't do it. And the last thing that I realized that I need to do when it comes to me walking in my purpose is give it my all. A lot of the times we are not giving our purpose our all. We are treating our purpose like a mini side hustle. And I'm not even talking about the jobs. If you guys understand, I'm talking about deeper than that. Purpose is what you are bringing and adding to this earth. Why are you giving that a little bit of your attention? Why are you cycling on that? Some of us need to find our purpose before it's time to walk in your purpose. And a way to find your purpose, and I know you don't want to hear this, but it's time to solitude and isolate for a little bit. And I preach this a lot. I know I do, but it's really the time when I found my purpose. And I realized my purpose in life, I really wholeheartedly feel like, is to help others on their self-love, self-care journey. And it started with fitness, because that's a way of taking care of your body, and it grew into something more, and it's going to keep growing. And it's all wrapped around self-love and self-growth. So when it's time for you to find your purpose, a way that's going to help is looking back on things that you went through growing up. And I want you to write out everything that you went through growing up. If you have to write it out like you're a story, like it's a story, write it out like you're telling your story, like a girl in a book. That's what I always do. I love making it seem like I'm the main character and just writing the story about myself. And do that, then read over it and take out key points on what you went through growing up, and then figure out, what did this teach me? And what can I learn from this and teach to other people? And I feel like that adds into your purpose. And I am not God, so I cannot tell people what their purpose is. I sometimes don't even know my full hard purpose, because God's just going to keep adding to that. But a good way to start is figuring out what you went through growing up and how what you went through could help other people as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It was just a mini talking video on just if you're feeling stagnant right now, if you need just words of motivation to really walk in your divine purpose and be your divine true self. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.